around 3 p.m. Nimesh joins us to tell us what he's picking up on D Street Chatter. Well, Nimesh, I think participation could be relatively lower because US markets, UK markets are shut. But what are your sense on the flows?
Well, decent outcome, Nigel, given that there was a marginal disappointment in terms of the RBI dividend. Yeah. Remember, on Friday, we rallied pretty hard in anticipation of a very large number. That didn't turn out to be. And even then, the Nifty is up, buzzing in trade. And I guess, the biggest story is the broader markets. Look at the kind of stocks which are rallying in the broader market names. Various themes are now getting played out. The pipes theme, the insurance theme. Those themes are now getting attention from the investors. So clearly, it's a market where the broader markets are relatively outperforming. That's been the trend today as well. What on the flows? It's quite mixed and not great. Either on the buy side or on the sell side. So it's relatively muted is what I understand from a larger institutional activity point of view. As I said, it's largely the mid caps and to some extent, it's also helped by very strong numbers. For a lot of the companies have reported better than what Street was anticipating in Q4 for the broader market companies. So that's also helping at the margin for them to outperform. We have an expiry this week, so it'll be a bit volatile over the next couple of days. But broadly today, on the Nifty, there is not much participation. And the broader market outperformance continue.
All right, but there's obviously a few stocks that you have picked up with some news in focus. So tell us which are them.
Right. So in terms of the individual stocks, the first is the theme on the block deals. I track very closely that. So I understand there are going to be large blocks in few names. One is ITC Hotels, PG Electro Plus, and Angel One. So expect large blocks in these three names. In fact, PG and Angel One both are under pressure today. The second name is Apollo Pipes. I spoke about pipes as a theme doing good. Apollo Pipes was up 20% on Friday. It's buzzing in trade on large volumes in today's market as well. And I understand a large HNI investor was an active buyer in the last couple of days. So entire pipe theme seems to be doing good. Astral, Supreme, and so for that matter, Apollo Pipes as well. The third stock is Max Financials. Within the insurance name, this one stock which has relatively outperformed post the earnings as well. Again, I understand there are very strong buy bids from large institutions, and one long-only FI has been an active buyer in Max Financial. That's the reason why we've seen a relative outperformance within the insurance pack. And the last is Balkrishna Industries. We spoke extensively about weak numbers and the capex that companies foraying into, but there are aggressive sell-offs as well from large institutions in Balkrishna Industries.
So yeah, no, absolutely. Nimesh, lots of blocks, right? And that first one was ITC Hotels, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That you mentioned, so, and here. Yeah. Are we looking at some more promoter selling stake? I mean, any idea?
Prashant, it's basically a strategic investor who's going to sell stake in ITC Hotels. Remember, post the demerger, there was an equal shareholding, right? So that entity owns close to 15% stake, and it's a non-core asset for them. So they have actually disclosed, last quarter as well that they will eventually sell that stake. So it looks like that large block is coming in ITC Hotels. But interestingly, I understand a very large influential investor, HNI investor, has shown some sort of an interest in that block. So very interesting as to how much they sell and who's the large investor who buys in. But for ITC Hotels, the buzz is that it could be a large block deal coming very soon.
Okay, all right.
I hope I gave enough hint on who the seller is and potentially who the buyer is.
Yeah, without naming.
Without naming. And rest let the market gossip and predict.
So Nimesh has given us the likely seller and the counterparty also.
Yes.
But counterparty, we'll see as it comes. Nimesh, thank you very much for that. So that is ITC Hotel.